Dynamic blessings to all of you, and thank you for tuning in. Life is magnificent. And you know, every time that I say that, I'm reminding each and every one of us that there's a difference between our life experience and life itself. Life is with a capital L, and it's another name for the presence of God, love and beauty and intelligence. So when we talk about life is good, we're talking about the all good that's beyond human comprehension. We're talking about life is good. And then there is our experience of life. And our experience of life is determined by our context, our perception, our thoughts, beliefs, opinions, points of view, interpretation of experiences, positionalities. All of that determines our experience. So if your context is I'm living in a hard and cruel world, then your perception will produce thoughts and experience along that line. But if you expand your context, so I'm living, moving, and having my beingness in the presence of love and beauty, my perception changes, I obtain different thoughts, I begin to see differently, opportunities, possibilities open up in a very powerful way, and I walk in a zone of safety and wellness. And so I'm inviting you today to be with me. I don't have a guest. I thought I'd take a few moments to basically speak about the art and the science of sacred listening. Now, this is very powerful because people often ask, how do you obtain mastership in your life? How do you become a master in your life? Via a meditation and an affirmative prayer and different spiritual technologies. It begins with listening. Now let's break this down. I call listening reverential alertness, reverential attentiveness. And real listening doesn't happen with the ears. It happens with your awareness and consciousness, you see. Now, what do I mean by that? Consciousness always precedes form. Wherever that you see anything in form or manifestation, it happened first in someone's mind and heart. It happened first in consciousness. So we don't have ears. We don't hear because we have ears. We have ears because we hear. We don't have eyes. You see, we don't see because we have eyes. We have eyes because we see. In other words, seeing and hearing, seeing the invisible, hearing the inaudible, produced the eyes and the ears in this dimension to navigate through 3 dimensions. So to really see and to really hear is to activate our spiritual faculty. The inner hearing, the inner seeing. And so we want to, this is what we do when we practice meditation. We're developing a sacred listening capacity. Now this is extremely important, not merely just in meditation because we want to have a reverential alertness even when we're not sitting on our meditation cushion, our meditation bench, our chair, wherever it is that we meditate. We want to begin to be aware that as we're moving through the world, there's a sacredness, we begin to tune in to our soul. We begin to tune in to the deep wisdom that's being broadcast everywhere, all the time, by the presence that is never an absence. So we begin to hear what is inaudible to most people. We begin to see what is invisible to most people. And you can begin to practice this just with friends and family in conversations. Just notice when you're in a conversation, when your mind is trying to jump in, like jump rope, and to say something without even listening to what the other person is saying. Or as soon as they say something, you want to just jump in really fast to react or respond to what they have just said, but maybe you haven't really listened. You haven't really caught all the cues. Because you are aware that in the English language, it's not just what a person says. It's how they say it. It's the facial expressions of how they say it. You know, it's the manner by which they say it. There's so many cues that people give when they're speaking that most people don't hear them. And then there's the vibration that's being emitted when one is speaking. So that it's not just what a person is saying, it's the vibration that's emerging from them. In other words, two people could say the exact same words, but one person can be saying it in a sarcastic way, and another person could be saying it in a very loving way. The vibration is totally different, and the universe, through its laws, will respond to that vibration totally differently based on the frequency and the vibration of what one is saying. So we want to practice when we're in conversation with people. This is as practice in this, and also as a way to develop a greater sense of intimacy with your friends and family and associates. Listen to the space between their words, not just their words. Listen to the vibration, and you'll begin to see a whole world of meaning. In other words, you'll be able to jump, what I call jump to meaning. You'll be able to understand what a person means when they're speaking, and not just have it bounce off your own opinion, point of view, projections, and then you think you know what they mean because you've heard the words and it's bouncing off of your opinions and your points of view. No. You stop and you cultivate the sacred art of listening to one another. And then you'll discover that sometimes a person is saying something and they're meaning something that the words can't quite capture, but you capture it because you're listening, you see. So that's like an assignment I want you to do for this week. I want you to notice your capacity to listen, capacity to hear, not just what a person is saying in words, but what they mean and the vibration that's coming out of them as they're releasing those words. Now, let's go back to meditation for a moment. Meditation is paying undistractable attention to reality. That's how I define it. Reality is with a capital R. That which is real, that which is eternal, that which is forever, that which is spiritual. In meditation, you learn to pay undistractable attention to that which is real, seeing with the inner eye, hearing with the ear that's beyond the ear, feeling with the heart that's beyond the heart, so that you begin to be more and more immersed in, consciously that is, because you're always immersed in the presence, but you begin to be more and more immersed in this presence, and you're able to see the infinite possibilities that are all around you right now, you see. And so I teach in the meditation practice, and I've been teaching meditation. It's when I say the number of years, it's difficult to me even believe it. For 40 years. I think it was 1979 that I received my first spiritual therapist license. But I've been teaching meditation for a long time. I've been practicing meditation for that duration as well, and it is the quickest transportation to transformation. But one of the elements of the practice is listening. Sitting and listening as if someone were about to tell you the most important thing that you'd ever want to know. And what happens when you do that? Your whole being becomes available. It's like it's not passive, that kind of listening, and that listening is not aggressive or active. It's reverential. It's attentive. And so in meditation, we learn to be attentive to the broadcast that's happening everywhere. What do I mean by the broadcast? This love presence is everywhere in its fullness. This love presence is intelligence itself. It's love itself. And it is always broadcasting its infinite nature everywhere, simultaneously, all of it being everywhere at the same time, you see. And so we learn in the art and science of meditation to deeply listen, as if someone were about to tell us something extremely important. And we sit with that. Now, of course, when I teach meditation, I take you through intention, I take you through the embracing of your attention, I take you through the deep and profound sacred art of listening, I take you through the beginner's mind, how to maintain an awareness that this is the very first time you've ever done it. I take you through a whole way to set yourself up as you enter into the art and science of meditation via the art and science of deep listening. As a matter of fact, I want you to know that you can go to michaelbbeckwith.com and you can register for my meditation retreat. It's going to be very, very powerful. It's just in a couple of weeks here in October. And listen, I'm going to carry you through 2 hours, it's 3 days. 2 hours in the morning, practicing meditation, 2 hours in the late afternoon, not only practicing spiritual technology and meditation, but I'll be available to do Q&A. And so it's 3 days. We're going to have some powerful music by Goapele and Lyra out of South Africa. And but primarily I'm going to be teaching and we're going to be practicing meditation. So I'm just basically giving you this teaching today about the sacred art of listening, that you can begin to prepare yourself for the not only for the meditation retreat, but you can begin to prepare yourself for life. Because you know what? When people go out into the world, they're generally listening to thinkingness that's bouncing around in their awareness. I didn't say thinking. I said thinkingness. Thinkingness is a combination of mentation, thought forms that are rumbling around the mind, chronic perceptions and opinions, and people have a tendency to not break free from their day-by-day habitual thinkingness. So they have a tendency to just keep reproducing the same experiences over and over and over again. When you practice the art and science, the sacred art of listening as a beginning, you start to be able to hear, oh, those are thoughts. I'm listening to the thoughts in my own awareness. Some of those thoughts are opinions. Some of those thoughts are the rehashings of things that I have heard. Some of those thoughts are just points of view. Some of those thoughts are not even the truth. And then you become increasingly aware that those habitual thoughts called mentation is just going on and on and on and on without you, without your conscious participation. But it is creating a filter over your perception and assisting in producing experience. And then you'll have the sublime experience of realizing that you are the individual that's watching those thoughts. Watching you mentate, watching thinkingness. That's the beginning of freedom. That's the beginning of spiritual liberation. When you start to become aware that all that stuff that's passing through your awareness is not you. Stuff passing through. It has come to pass, you see. Now you're beginning to exercise a level of freedom. And in that moment of freedom, you know what comes next? Your moment of choice. With expanded awareness, there's greater choice. Many people do not exercise their choice because they live in reaction. They're in a reactionary mode to life's experience, the thankingness in their mind, they never reach choice. Choice is a function of ever-expanding awareness that comes, it's hard-won, through affirmative prayer, sacred meditation, bedrock being the sacred art of listening, sacred art of real seeing. And then when you taste that freedom, even if it's for a nanosecond, changes the trajectory of your life forever. So, we're going to take a moment to practice. And then I want to remind you once again, many of you have already done this already. You've already downloaded my app. You've either gone to michaelbbeckwith.tv, downloaded the app, and then gone to the App Store and got Beckwith Inspires or MBB, and you have the app. Or it's very easy just to go to michaelbbeckwith.com, and it has all the instructions on downloading the app. This meditation retreat that I'm going to do is on the app. It'll live there for a while. So you can be with me, be in the practice, be in the flow, and watch your life change. Now, of course, we're doing it on the app because normally I do at least 2 meditation retreats a year. One in the springtime and one at the end of the year, going through the New Year's into January, start in December and go. But because of the COVID restrictions, I don't know whether we'll be able to meet in person in December. If we are able to meet in December, at the end of the year, going into January, I will probably have some kind of physical retreat. But until then, this is going to be very intimate, very sweet, very wonderful, very informative. You'll be able to practice meditation, ask questions, and just participate in this large field of people all over the world, signing up and tuning in for the art and science of listening, the art and science of meditation. So it's retreat. Find yourself at home. You catch that vibration? We want you to retreat and then find your real self at home. That is, while you are at home, you're finding your real self. And then when you find your real self, you're at home with yourself. So it's a sweet play on words as a reminder that our real self with the capital S, when we find ourselves, it always feels like a homecoming. Like, oh my God, this is me. All the things I thought I was, all the things I heard about myself, all the things people have said about me, all of my experiences and misinterpretation of experiences where I formed an opinion of myself, all of that falls away. And we find ourselves at home. So we retreat to advance spiritually. Okay, so what I want you to do at this moment, just a brief practice. Just put your feet on the ground. If you're in a chair, that is, have your feet, have your hands facing upward on your lap, thumb and forefinger together just as an intention, as a signal to transcend the ego perception. Begin to close the outer eye, the outer 2 eyes. And as you close the outer 2 eyes, just tap the space between your eyebrows as an activation of the 3rd eye. It's actually the 1st eye, because you're spiritual being first, physical being second. You feel that sensation there? Close the outer eye. And just for a moment, embrace an intention to discover and uncover your real self. To wake up to who you really are and whose you really are. Just embrace that intention. Allow your attention to embrace that intention. You're saying something to yourself like, I am sitting to discover my real nature, my real self. I'm sitting to wake up. Your attention is right there. Consciously be aware that the body is breathing, the body temple is breathing, and you're aware of the breath while you're simultaneously embracing your intention. Now here we go into the practice of listening. I want you to sit as if someone were about to tell you the greatest secret in the world. Something so important. You don't want to miss not even one word, not even a syllable. You want to hear it. So you listen with your entire being. You've established an intention to wake up, but you're sitting with a deep reverential alertness, a deep sacred art of listening. Your whole being, not just your ears. It's the ear beyond the ear. Listen for a moment. If your attention drifts, let's come back. Establish yourself as one who is listening. Someone is about to tell you something so important. You don't want to miss one word. Listen. Listen. See. Take a deep, fulfilling breath. Release with the sound of ah, ah. Slowly open your eyes. Put a slight smile on your face. Now with your eyes open, put a smile on your face. With your eyes open, feel yourself with the capacity to listen and to see and to notice that out of your eyes there's a blessing pouring from you. So that everywhere you look, not only are you becoming more available to see the infinite everywhere, but everywhere you look is blessed because you're looking at it. I'll close with this. Scientifically, it's called the observer effect. People know what that is. That is, scientists have discovered, David Bohm, Albert Einstein, whatever it is that you observe, you shift on a subatomic level just based on your observation. This is why unexamined life is sometimes not worth living, because you're just mentating all the time. But when you examine yourself and observe yourself and practice the art and science of meditation and deep listening, you're changing on a spiritual level, on a subatomic level, based on your observation and intentionality. And when you finish meditation, the practice of it, and you open your eyes, you're observing with the higher state of consciousness, and you're making the world better through your observation from being connected to the source of all creation, your real life and your real being. So I want you to feel my invitation for you to come practice with me. michaelbbeckwith.com. Go there immediately. Get the app. Sign up for the retreat. And we'll meet for 3 days in just a couple of weeks. And it's very important because there's so much going on in the world of effects, political polarization, racial injustice, fear of the COVID. There's so much happening. It's a turbulent moment in which the old paradigm is breaking up and the new paradigm is emerging, but they're occupying the same time and space right now, so there's a great degree of confusion. You don't want to be a part of the confusion. You want to be a part of the answer vibrationally. This is a great time to, if you are a meditation practitioner, a great time to give yourself a booster shot. And if you're new to meditation, it will be taught so that it's easily understandable, as we just did just now, so that you can begin to embrace the art and science of sacred listening, the art and science of meditation as a way of life. It will change your life. It will change your life experience. That I know for sure. So it's been my pleasure to be with you this half hour. michaelbbeckwith.com. Sign up for the retreat. It's in 2 weeks. And what I want you to do, I want you to practice the sacred art of listening until that time, to the best of your ability, and begin to look in your home as to where you want to practice your meditation. Do you have an altar already set up with incense and a candle and maybe one of your favorite spiritual books? Maybe you have my book, Spiritual Liberation, or Life Visioning, or The Answer Is You, or Transcendence, or the book I did on prosperity recently, or one of your own favorite books. But start carving out a spot where you're going to sit and your family's not going to bother you. Now when you take the retreat, you want to alert those that you're living with that you're carving out these hours for yourself, not to be disturbed for those 2 hours in the morning and those 2 hours in the late afternoon, so that you're creating a sanctuary, a fortress, a spiritual fortress of solitude, to break free from the limiting thoughts and perceptions and beliefs. This is so very important. I cannot overemphasize the power of meditation and the practice of it, and doing it with a collective consciousness of so many people tuning in from around the globe. You can do this. Make it a priority. Go to michaelbbeckwith.com now and get the exact dates, get your app, and flow. It's 2 weeks right here in October, okay? Right here in October. 23rd, 24th, 25th of October. I'm pretty sure that's the date. Okay? So, as I bid you adieu, we turn within for a moment and we give thanks to the great God of the universe that indwells us, in which we're living, moving, and having our being. We open ourselves up with such thankfulness that we're able to see life more clearly and more profoundly and more beautifully. And I set us free with this prayer, that we may become more and never less than our true self. Indeed, something wonderful is happening. And so it is. Amen. The 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th of October. Put that on your calendar right now. Go to michaelbbeckwith.com right this instant. Get the app, sign up for the retreat, and we will all meet you there. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about all the people signing up. I'm talking about, we've given a big invitation to the ancestral realm to sit and to hold the space, the angelic realm, the invisibles, so that you can listen to the depth of your soul. Tell your friends. Matter of fact, you should invite all those who are interested in evolving to be a part of this. Why? So that they won't be calling you during those 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon of practice. They will be with you, you see, from their homes. So let's do it. As we hear a siren, that's a reminder that somebody's getting help and that we're holding them in prayer. That's the vibration we go to. Someone's getting help and we're holding them in prayer. I'll see you Sunday at Agape, online, agapelive.com, Facebook, YouTube, the whole deal. And I'll see you 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The great retreat of finding yourself at home. Find yourself at home. Peace and blessings. God bless you.